Crypto's price action has been savage. With Bitcoin dropping down to crazy low levels, many worry that this is the end of the bull run. So let's take a look at the price action and see what we can see, because this may be the end of the bull run, or this may be an opportunity to load up in, perhaps your last opportunity before things really get crazy. Welcome to the Crypto Rain channel and our family. Have you ever worried in your life about money? What if you learned to use some of your money to work for you just right so that you never had to worry about money again? Now, I grew up poor in life, secondhand clothes, bologna sandwiches every day for lunch. It isn't bad to grow up that way, but I realized there is the value of money, and that is it allows options in life. It can also decrease that gnawing worry we carry of how do we meet all these financial obligations. And perhaps we want to afford the nicer things in life that we want and the travel that we want. Now, after a few months of being in crypto, when I started 8 years ago, I recognized crypto investment done right had the most amazing, massive potential to allow us to get to a place where we don't have to worry about money again. Now, after 8 years of being in crypto, I know that crypto can and will change your finances and your life, but there is a huge catch. It only works if and when you do it right. Now, while being in crypto, I learned something very scary. You see, I know people who have been in crypto longer than me, but aren't even rich yet. They are still stuck around where they were when they started. I then learned that 89% of people in crypto don't make meaningful money or flat out lose money, and it's because they are just doing it wrong. Now, there's another 6% that make a little bit of money, but just a little. It's really the remaining 5% of crypto investors that make life-changing gains and take them into the lifestyle we all dreamed about as kids. Because haven't we learned in life that if you find out what the successful people are doing and you copy exactly how they do things, you start having their results? So a couple of years in, when I really realized that, I focused 100% of everything on figuring out what those 5% did. I put into practice myself. Now, by 2021, 4 years after I started in crypto, using those principles, I was able to fire my day job and move to the city I wanted and put myself in position to never have to work again if I didn't want to. Here's where I share what I learned. I share my research on the companies I like and why I like them. Today is our price analysis day, and this is a day where we combine what I've learned with our special guest, Paul, joining us from DEVVE. He had something come up and won't be able to make it today, but is looking forward to joining us next Wednesday. Now, Paul has 30 years price analysis experience. I'm sure if you've seen him, you realize how good he is at looking at the trends and how unshaken he is just looking at the data. I'll share some of the things he's been sharing with me because price action has been crazy to the downside. And a lot of people are worried what is going on here. Do note, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a crypto investor myself. Let's go ahead and get it started. If you haven't already, have some fun, make it rain on that like button, strap in for the show. Kyle says, hey, your screen is tiny, only showing half your face. Yes, there's this new way if you're looking on the phone where it does this. If you're watching on a computer, it should be showing a different way. I know I haven't figured out how to make the mobile version go a little bit different. We are live. Chris says, good morning and happy Wednesday, Rainmakers. Asking question to Paul. There's a lot of bearishness out there right now. The fear and greed index is extreme fear, which is not typical for the end of a bull market. We are going to talk about that. Should we consider this a dip within a larger bull market, or should we prepare for a bear market? Hard times. You're good now. It was me. What's up, gents? Looks just fine on my end on the desktop. Yes. So if you are watching on, yes, a screen on your phone, it will be different. on a vertical layout. All right, so let's jump on over to this. And here is Bitcoin's price action, because this is what's on everyone's mind. Now, often with Paul, he'll take us through what's happening in the other markets, which gives us some context. Context is always helpful, but I wanted to show you this trend here. And so if you look at this, this is the general uptrend that we're in, and we're still in that uptrend. In fact, we're still several thousand away from even hitting that lower trend line. So if you look now, this is where a lot of people are panicking. But if you remember back to April, after this massive decrease from 110, we came all the way down to 74K, and people were freaking out. What followed that? Well, a bunch of bullishness. Again, remember, the fear and greed index at this point was quite low to the fear side. And as Paul was saying back then, usually if it is a top and it's reversing, that you'll see people still in the greed camp, even when things pull back, because they're sure it's just going to continue. But again, if we look at the fear and greed index, let me pull that up. Fear and greed is at extreme fear of 16. Look, last time we were here, look where the prices were. So we were clear down here we bottomed at like 4.8 through 4.10 and 3.10 roughly. So let's look back at Bitcoin's price and say, oh, whoa, April 10th. Wouldn't you know it? Isn't that funny? So it was extremely weighted to the fear side. And then it flipped around quite bullishly. Now, some of what may be causing this behind the scenes was, number one, the government shutdown and the liquidity crunch that happened during that. And you see how subject to liquidity the crypto market can be, to the downside, but also to the upside. And with possible stimulus checks coming in and some other economic stimulus, including decreasing interest rates and possibly a Fed chair replacement coming by May of next year to maybe stimulate the economy much, much more through further price decreases in interest rates, but also quantitative easing. You're seeing how subject to liquidity the crypto market is. That does happen to the upside too. What lows do you see Bitcoin getting to this year? I think, Kyle, it goes right along this trend line. So it could still come down to 85,000 and still be in this trend line here. But if you remember how freaked out everyone was at 74,000, and it felt like it was over and people were calling it over. What's different now? Same thing almost. All right. What is going on with ETH? Well, let's take a look. It's not in much of a different camp at all. Here, it is generally following, well, it's a very, very messy W pattern. So if you see this, comes up, comes back down with, notice, a higher low. It has come right back up to the top. Look how beautiful that part of it is. The only thing throwing off this beautiful W pattern is that little part there. Now, often when this comes back down, it will usually just come to the midline. So it has come farther down than the midline. But I expect it's preparing as liquidity picks up to go much, much higher. And then this time it'll be ready to break through its previous highs. Yes, we can take a look at GFAL and Star Atlas. I do love how blockchain gaming is one of the most undervalued sectors or narratives within the crypto community right now. And it's a good time to be looking at blockchain gaming and which ones might be particularly undervalued. Let's take a look at Solana, see what's going on with Solana. Solana has pulled back significantly, so it's mostly just in a trading sideways. But remember when Solana was going absolutely crazy and it just felt like it would go up for forever? Nothing does go up for forever. So like this is not a beautiful W pattern. Basically it did this, came back down, but went right back up, broke previous highs. And now it's just kind of been trading sideways. Now, a lot of Solana's momentum has come when meme coins are being traded and a little bit when AI is being traded because there's meme coins on AI and or meme coins on Solana and the AI narrative being traded on Solana. But other than that, I haven't seen tons of development on Solana. And remember when it was just going crazy and everyone was talking about Solana, and I've shared with you, let that hit your radar that when something is being talked about by everyone, it's not a good time to buy it. It's maybe a good time to sell into that momentum, but not a good time to buy. And hasn't it played out like that? Like, remember how much this ran counter to the narrative, having bottomed out at like $7. And here it was at 210, so 30x up. It then went to topping at like 300, so 40x up. And yet this is where a lot of people were buying at. What a terrible, terrible mistake. Remember, the key principle of making money in crypto, any investment, but crypto particularly, is buy low, sell high. I know that sounds too simple to be the case. Like, of course, everyone would do that, but that's not what people do. Were all those people talking about Solana when Solana was way down here at $7 to $21? No, they weren't. They weren't. They were calling Solana too risky and why they were diversifying away from it. And then they're covering it like crazy here. Now, one of the problems is crypto YouTube and the influence, because if you talk about things when they're cheap, nobody watches those videos because most people aren't searching for Solana when Solana is $7. They're just completely sure that it's dead and that they're chasing something else that is totally running. And when Solana goes to $300, well, that's when all the YouTube channels are covering it because that's when your videos get the most traction, the most new subscribers. And that's how most video YouTube crypto channels are built, is by talking about things when they're up. Because if you talk about things when they're undervalued, you don't get anywhere near the traction. So the algorithm doesn't push you out. Now, I did decide with this channel to go the route that most don't go, which is talk about things when they're cheap. Talk about things when they're underpriced. Talk about things when nobody is searching for them, even though it will never make this channel the biggest crypto YouTube channel. That's okay, because like what you're trying to do, I've made my money from my own investments. So this channel is just a way for me to share the research I'm making as I continue to buy crypto and make money through holding crypto. I want you to know one thing. Most YouTube channel creators have made most of their fortune not from their crypto investments, but from their YouTube revenues. Think about that. What does that tell you? So, yeah, they've been around in crypto for a long time, but most of their money has come from their YouTube channel, right in the middle of being in the best opportunity of their life. Yeah, why aren't they rich from it? Is that what you really want to be listening to? Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Maybe some people are just in the crypto space for the community and for the fun of it, right? Just it's a fun place to be. I know many of you came for the same reasons I did, which is I saw this as my opportunity to make life-changing gains. And that's really what I wanted. Because when you get your money taken care of, you have your time back. You don't have to check in at your job every day. You get to do what you want, when you want, with who you want. And that's true freedom. And I was looking for that true freedom. Hey Jay, at what point would you become bearish and prepare for winter? Not yet. I would need to see a lot worse than this. Basically, like Paul said, what's funny is every time I have seen a top, now this goes with real estate, goes with stocks, and even with crypto, is that when the true top is in, most people are so sure that it's just a temporary setback, and the fear and greed index is much, much, much higher. The fact that fear is so high tells me we have a ways to go. Because what happens is this psychological principle flips in people's minds. They get used to these pullbacks, and then they think everything's just a pullback. And we're not there yet. Like, people still are too frequently flipping to bearish when we have a pullback. But you'll see that'll change. So, I mean, when will I flip? You will see a bigger thing. So we were looking at the Bitcoin chart earlier. This would be more concerning if it broke below this. But even below this, Chris, fundamentally, when you look beneath the surfaces, what's happening with crypto, with the massive adoption, with the Fed chair, Jerome Powell, going to be replaced by May if he's not replaced sooner, with the Fed lowering interest rates, I don't see fundamentally why massive things don't happen here. And so I've been in this position before, and it was called 2020, where there was this chop going on, and so many people were so worried when we'd have a pullback like this. And they were just sure that it was over. And I continue to use it as a time to load up. And people called me like a perma bull, and oh, you're just endlessly bullish. And the truth is, like, the underlying things were where I got my bullishness from. And those same underlying things are lining up here. So we have this pullback. Great. This is, in my opinion, an amazing buying opportunity. Not a time to panic out, though some are using it as a time to panic out. That's what creates these kind of lows. If you think back to these lows here, these lows, even these lows here, this is when a lot of people were washing out and panicking out. Rowan says winter is coming, but not yet, hopefully. Yeah, not yet. We're not at crypto winter yet. We have some bullishness to go. Look, Bitcoin should top out between 150 to 185,000 in the normal cycle. It may top out much higher than that because I don't think this is going to be a normal cycle. But we'll see how it plays out. All right, let's take a look at OMI and then DEVVE. All right, now OMI's had some interesting price action. So we went down to these amazing lows where we almost hit quadruple zeros in the price, which still was so amazing. And I know some people that got some buys in right at these levels. I have a good friend that now, instead of measuring the number of OMI he has with an M, he's now measuring it with a different letter, which was an amazing buying opportunity. He, I think, tripled or quadrupled his OMI position in this pullback. It was an amazing time. Now, maybe this came with the announcement of Kraken, this green candle here. And OMI would seem like it's doing well compared to everything else. I would love to think OMI is going to go just up from here. I don't know. It may come back down, possibly not to these lows, but it may come down some more. It looks like this general trend is trying to was trying to set kind of a trend that this was going to be the bottom, was like this. So it pumped up, and I think it overcame down. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes back down along this trend. And at some point is going to reverse and go to the upside. But remember, one of the challenges with OMI was it went too high to the upside. And what goes up does come down. So often the pendulum swings too far each way. So if you think about a clock, if you were to push the thing that swings, or the pendulum that swings on the clock, way too far one way, it's going to swing too far the other way. That's just what happens with pendulums. So during the last bull market, OMI went up 3,000x. Like 3,000x is one of the biggest gainers in 2021. And it went up pretty quickly. So here it's still at these lows at the end of January. And then by March, literally it had gone up like 3,000x. So in about 6 weeks, went 3,000x, which is crazy. Well, what goes up comes down. Now it's not gone back to these lows. This is 1, 2. This is quadruple 0, 4. So even if we got to quadruple zeros, this price right here is like less than half that price. But it will have swung pretty significantly if it comes back to quadruple zeros. Even still, right now as it is, it's an amazing price. It's about 5 times higher than this price here. And you see some periods where, wow, that was so cheap. Right now, we're about 8 times higher than where that price is right there. We'll see what happens here, but there we go. See, there were some points in here where the price got really, really cheap. But you can see those kind of gains. I put this on logarithmic scale, which a little bit easier to see how cheap it got through here. On non-logarithmic scale, it just all looks like it stayed pretty flat, and then it ran up. But log scale will show us that no, even within that chop, it got really, really cheap before it did massively run. And then we've just been pulling back like this. So what goes up too far does come down too far. And OMI's doing that. The only stable thing these days is actually OMI. No, Dan had something come up. He's not going to be able to make it today. After all, he will be here next Wednesday. All right, let's take a look at DEVVE. See where DEVVE's at. Now this is somewhat of a more picturesque W pattern. So let's go to the daily. Now, if it looks like this side is extended out farther, it's because it is. And probably, if it weren't for the government shutdown, it would have started turning around and heading higher sooner. But things like that happen, and the government shutdown pulled some liquidity out of the market. But now that's over, and so that liquidity is going to come in. So probably this will start heading up again. Well, DEVVE's looking good. Like, I don't know about you, but buy low, sell high. And it's not at the crazy lows. Like, it hit like 24 cents again right here. But at 38 cents, it's still an amazingly low price. And let's look at that market cap. So it's a $37 million market cap. Pretty amazingly low market cap for a layer 1 blockchain with the kind of speeds it has. And that's mostly because most people in the crypto space are not really aware of it yet. So All right. Money Mail Day asked if we could take a look at GFAL and Star Atlas. So let's jump on that. So remember, buy low, sell high. Now, I haven't followed lately what's going on with Game for a Living, see where they're at. But if I'm trying to catch up on that, let me share with you the process I used to figure that out. So this price, after it launched, things often go through an upside, just some bullishness. The amount of tokens in circulation is usually lower. And it went to 4.5 cents. It's now pulled back to 0.18 cents. So it's pulled back significantly from the 4.5 cents. So is it a good deal? Well, let's look at a few factors. Number one, we can see the tokens have been investing pretty regularly. So this has put more tokens in circulation, going to advisors, foundation team, developers. The private sale is not the private sale already already got all their tokens. Let's see who else is getting tokens. It's really the advisors and foundation and team and developers getting tokens. And in-game too is getting tokens. And maybe that's what's putting downward price pressure. So as we see the price decrease like this, it's because there's downward price pressure, which means more selling than buying. So my guess is the game, in order to tread water and make funds, and advisors are selling. But right now, because blockchain gaming is out of the narrative, almost nobody's buying. And that's what puts massive downward price pressure on this, bringing the market cap to under $7 million market cap. Now, are they a good investment? Well, it depends on what is happening with them. So we got almost 55,000 followers. They really kind of pushed forward with this proof of Lux. It was some rings, and they had a low supply. And this is a way they were probably trying to bring in additional revenues while keeping people going. Now, they did do a pretty basic game with gems. Diamond Dreams is what it's called, and it's all right. Maybe in a broader bull market that will go well. I would like to see more game development. They basically took an existing mobile type game and built a diamond kind of version of it. There we go. This is what it looks like, essentially. I would like to see more developed, but we'll see. Based on GFAL's background, I had higher hopes for the kinds of games that they would develop. Now, if you think about it, mobile games are the ones that can most easily go viral and catch on. I can't say I know mobile games extremely well. Mostly the games that I played are either on the console like Xbox or computer games like Dota 2. And so I don't know mobile games that well. And my understanding is they just took a game that's already out there and modified it with the diamonds and gems. I guess I would have liked to see more. One of the things I've liked about GFAL is their background in gaming itself. So I had higher hopes than what we're seeing so far. So if you look at the kind of games I've been following more closely, it's like Illuvium, which they're building a AAA level game that unfortunately for them is mostly for the computer now. You can play the LAN game on a phone, but it requires more resources than what a phone could do. So that's the kind of game, that is the kind of game I understand better. Off the Grid is another game that I understand better, which you can play on Xbox, PlayStation, or the computer. and is, I think, in the coming bull run, going to be one of the highest played games ever. So what do I think about their game development for GFAL? I'm having a hard time making a value judgment on that. Looks like they are somewhat active. August 20th, August 27th. Let's see, August 28th, August 30th, August 31st. So they have a lot related to Diamond Dreams. September 3rd, September 11th, September 18th, September 26th. So they are still posting somewhat regularly, though there's a big gap. Like you see, they slowed down September and October. While the gaming industry bleeds, 45,000 jobs, and Web3 goes on abandoned projects. Diamond Dreams match just dropped season 2, the Midnight Cypher, and players are loving it. Nearly 3K reviews, 4.9 star rating. Gameplay first. This is the future Web3 gaming that actually works. Okay. Like they have the article, Diamond Dreams match defies blockchain gaming bloodbath. First true mass market bridge for Web3. Okay, so this is just kind of how I go through my research. The other thing I do is I go to YouTube because I love interviews with teams, and let's see, GFAL interview. So it looks like Rico Crypto covered it here 2 months ago. We got interviews from 3 years ago. One with Crypto Band. No, that's with CEO of Ultra. Manel Sort, CEO of Games for a Living, joins us for podcast. So it looks like this one from 2 years ago on the Daily Gamer. So this is how I like to do my research. Looks like Cryptorium's got 1.7K views on it from a month ago. Yeah. Rico Crypto covering 2 years ago. This is huge. Proof of Lux. This might go into more about the game to see where it's at. So this is some of what I do. This is put out by GFAL itself 4 months ago. GFAL Q2 2025 update is here. We've got exciting highlights from Q2 and a glimpse into what is coming Q3. Cool. All right, let's take a look at the next one, which is Star Atlas. And let's see what the hell is going on with Star Atlas. Remember, Star Atlas has 2 tokens. It has Atlas and what's the other one? You can see it here. Polis. Polis's market cap is a little bit higher. That is the DAO token. But both are down considerably. So this is showing on logarithmic chart is what we've been looking at, and it keeps sliding to the downside. If we were to look just regularly at the chart, it looks like it's flatlined, but it hasn't. It is kept going down. Now, the big question is, how alive is Star Atlas? Its market cap is under 10 million. Now, I know because of our Discord and some of the people in our Rainmaker family, they've been following Star Atlas quite a bit. And just what they've shared with me is still very much alive. And it keeps moving forward. So I don't think they're dead. I don't know what their revenue situation is. I do like to have an idea of how the revenues are doing on a project to know how interested I am. But let me share with you what I'm looking at here. Like, pretty good. Obviously, this is just like redesigned scenes there. But it gives you an idea of their ship battles. Not there. That's just more scenes that they put together. We'll show it in a second. That, I think, is the ship actually flying. This is you picking. This is the character actually moving around. Right here is some actual like first-person shooter gameplay. This is ship-to-ship combat. And this is racing. So you're seeing a good game coming together. This looks like it's actual gameplay of the player on a planet looking at his ship. Like, this is what I want to see. I think Star Atlas might be an amazing buy. So let's go back to look at what I do to research where things are at. So first thing I do is I go to their Twitter. 375K followers. Let's see what kind of engagement they get. That's a lot of followers. Looks like they're getting 1.2K retweets on this pinned one. 1.1K likes. Okay, so much lower engagement generally. This has 65 comments, 103 reshares. This does show you, though, what gameplay looks like. I mean, not bad. Looks like you have a little bit of a jetpack. Okay. Looks like you might have the ability to build there. And you just placed that building. All right. I like it. Ooh, what is this? Oh, this is something they reposted. Zinc is a general purpose layer 1 powering Star Atlas and maybe very soon many other dApps, including real world assets, DeFi, NFTs, marketplace, and other things. So it looks like Zinc is what they're building on. Interesting. Is it powered by Ronin? It would seem like it is. Looks like you can catch a good interview here with Kaji. Kaji's pretty fun. He's deep in blockchain gaming, and if you want to watch actual gameplay, he does like to do gameplay a lot, so he's a good one to watch for how is the blockchain gaming gameplay going to be. I'm liking what I see here. I think Atlas is a really big buy. It may continue to come down from here, but it's cheap in a $10 million market cap. In a bull run and blockchain gaming narrative, bigger games like this can go to $1 billion plus market cap, sometimes even a 5 or 10 billion market cap. I mean, Axie Infinity prior to the bull run was in a place absolutely price punished like this and end up going to like a $4 billion market cap for their token, maybe even a $5 billion market cap. So we're seeing some good things. The next place I would go is YouTube Star Atlas interview. So then I go Star Atlas interview. Looks like a year ago, Michael Wagner did an interview. Play to earn. Looks like it's got 12K views. Helpful to look at. Looks like another interview 7 months ago. So this is good research. 3 months ago. Looks like another interview. So he's frequently coming on. This is what you want to see. This is what a buy looks like. A buy looks like team is putting out lots of stuff. Team is going on doing lots of interviews. I'm liking this a lot. And then you look at the price, and the price is going way, way down. It seems like it will go down for forever, but that's just not how it plays out. So I'm liking what I'm seeing with Star Atlas. Great suggestions. I'm liking it even better than what I'm seeing with Games for a Living, especially at this price. Of course, maybe I'm biased towards Star Atlas's type of game. That's much more my type of game than like the Diamond Dreams game. Yeah. Right. Justin says Myria. We can take a look at Myria. Double Quill says, I like that you cover so many low caps. So many channels don't seem interested in covering them. Let me share with you a secret. Number one, most people covering crypto with investment don't covering blockchain and stuff with YouTube channels aren't very good at it. Now, sometimes, like for example, if you grow a big channel, you can make amazing revenues from sponsors and other types of revenues and endorsements of exchanges that then your audience, every time they trade, you make some fees as they trade. So a lot of channels are just set up with the wrong incentives. Do you realize that because it's free to you, you are being sacrificed on the altar of their revenues? And what that looks like is they're taking big sponsorships and you're being sold to. Number two, they're covering what is hot. So if you want to grow a big YouTube channel, what you do is you cover what everyone is talking about, because that's also what people are searching for. And the algorithm is going to pick up that higher than average number of viewers are looking at your videos because you're covering whatever is in the narrative then. And you're going to tend to be optimistic about it because, well, more people are going to subscribe to you. And so you'll make lots of revenues having a YouTube channel. Here's the challenge. Your audience will absolutely get wrecked. For example, if I had a channel like that, when Solana was going crazy, would have been a lot better. Let me remove these drawings. If I had covered Solana when it was going crazy up here, I would have gotten a lot bigger YouTube channel. I would have gotten way more views on the videos. I would have gotten more subscribers, and y'all would have gotten wrecked. And so I'm not willing to sacrifice you on the altar for YouTube gains. Remember, I'm one of the few creators that my money comes from my own investments. Like, look, doing the right things is fairly simple. It's buy low, sell high. But that's just the opposite of what most people do. So most people weren't buying Solana when it was cheap down here. They were buying it up here. And that is how you get wrecked, because that's called buying high, hoping it goes higher. And that's just not what plays out. All right, so let's take a look at Myria. All right, so Myria is absolutely devastatingly low. During the bull market, it went all the way to 1.3 cents. No, not the bull market. This is when blockchain gaming, during the bear market, blockchain gaming had a rally. And it felt like it had bottomed out at 0.16 cents. And it absolutely went crazy here, going, really, it doesn't show it, but it went to about 16 cents. So it had some real significant gains. And since then, it's just been pulling back like crazy. So is it a buy here? Well, there's some additional things we need to look at to really know. Now, blockchain gaming is fairly out of the narrative. So you can buy just about anything and you'll be doing pretty well. Also notice it's about 90% lower than these lows here. So on that side, it looks like an amazing buy. Is it an amazing buy? First, let's look at, okay, a lot of the tokens are unlocked. You see a steady stream of token unlocks, and then it's going to fall off here and just unlock much, much slower. So I do like that part. It's got market cap of 5.38 million with a fully diluted value of 7 million. So you're seeing so many more of their tokens come into circulation, and that's a good thing. Oh, that's not what I want to look at. I don't want to look at their website. I want to look at their Twitter. And let's see. So we got a pin post all the way from June 12th, which was 6 months ago. Don't love that they don't have a new pinned one sooner. Looks like just recently, 4 days ago, they put out a post here. Future of game dev isn't about adding more code, it's about removing friction. Myria's L2 and SDK stack means you spend less time untangling Web3, more time building worlds worth playing. Okay. Myria AI, smart assistant, executes codes, manage transactions, integrate blockchain features, all done from the Myria developer portal. Okay. What is going on your game development, though? Not seeing a lot that tells me a lot here. I don't like it. They are posting somewhat regularly. So I like that. So the next step is, what kind of interviews have they done? Myria crypto interview. Looks like a year ago we got here. Looks like an interview on Paul Barron Network. Myria interview again on Paul Barron Network. 3 years ago, you see it on here. You're seeing Guru Crypto's Garage covering it here 3 months ago. Okay. Recent coverage here. I would like to see more interviews. Myria team, what the hell are you doing? More interviews. Like, I've asked you to do an interview and you can't really get back to me. So you don't have to interview on my channel, though it'd be smart. I will ask you hard questions. I want to know, like, what is your pipeline looking like for game developments? What is your runway? And one of the most important questions when you're investing in something is, what is the financial runway of the company? So how much revenue do they have? What is their current burn rate? And that'll tell you what their runway is. Because if they run out of runway before the plane lifts off, well, then it crashes hard. And you've seen that with some business failures. So that gives an idea of how much more runway do they have so that they can continue to operate until blockchain gaming comes back in the narrative. All right. Now, once blockchain gaming comes back in the narrative, then everything's going crazy. And then it's really easy for them to raise capital. It's really easy for them to get a lot of traction on their game itself. And so that they have to survive till then, though. And how are they going to do that? Well, I don't know. All right, guys, that's a lot of what we have to cover today. Any other suggestions we could take a quick look at? Yeah. I will share with you, if you haven't joined our private Discord, you can join that through our private Patreon. The value in that is, well, unique. It may or may not be for you. It depends on why you're here for crypto. If you're here for crypto and you're committed to the longer term because you want to become rich through crypto, probably that's right for you. Now, there is a cost to it. There's $20 a month right now is the entry cost, and those prices will be going up by 250%. So right now, the basic cost is $20. But if you join up, you get grandfathered in at that. So as long as you keep your card active, you get to keep that price. But later, that will go to $50 for the basic level. If you're doing the higher level, like the gold tier, that's just under $100. That'll go to about $250. And then our diamond tier, which is $500 a month, will go to probably about $1,250. So they do give you differing levels of access to myself and more information, as well as, like at the gold tier, you have greater access to other gold tier members. anyway, you just get better information the higher tier you go. But the basic one is right for some people, and the higher tier one is right for others. I guess if you're willing to, if you're really new to crypto or somewhat, hopefully this bull market that's coming, and it is coming, hopefully you're well prepared for it, because it does take 2 bull markets that you're well prepared for to have life-changing gains that will probably last you in perpetuity for the rest of your life. For example, the first bull market that I was prepared for was the 2021 bull market. So 2018 through 2020, I was still figuring things out. I made a bunch of mistakes, but because I was dollar cost averaging during the bear market, even with the many mistakes I made, I still made enough that I never had to work again. Now, it's not that I never have to work again and I could live lavishly. That comes your second bull market that you're prepared for. But in 2021, I was able to quit my day job. I do never have to work again. I'm somewhat cautious with my money because I've redeployed it all into crypto. Again, this bear market, like many of you, because I want one more upside. Now I'm in a completely different ballpark than I was my first bear market. But the second bull market that you're prepared for, life-changing. I know many of you are well prepared for this coming bull market. It's going to set you on a trajectory that your financials will be different for the rest of your life. If you have 2 bull markets that you're prepared for, you're probably rich beyond what you ever thought possible. So how long does it take to get there? So really, that Discord commitment is really a 4 to 8 year commitment. Now, it doesn't mean you can quit if you don't like it, but commit yourself to do this for 4 or 5 years. And at $20 a month, that's essentially $240 a year. Did I do that math right? I think so. $240 a year times, say, 5 to 8 years. That's still a really inexpensive commitment over that time. At the higher levels, it's still a really inexpensive commitment. Think of it like your tuition towards learning to become a savage investor. Realize if you become a savage investor within the crypto space, not only will this change your life, but the same principles, once you become a savage investor, apply to other things. So when the next new thing is no longer crypto, I think AI and power, like investing in power companies, is the next thing that's coming. Well, the same principles of doing research apply to that space. And so once you become a savage investor, these skills are going to work for the rest of your life. And these skills really apply to learning how to make your money make money for you. You only have to become really good at it once, because when you become really good at it, you apply those principles to different sectors, and your money makes so much money for you that it frees up your time. Because right now, you're probably just trading time for money at your day job. You realize there's only 24 hours in the day, and generally you have to sleep for 6 to 8 of them. And so it cuts down how much time you can trade for money. What, you want to go on vacation, you want to spend time with your family? That cuts down on the time that you have to trade for money. What if the money you were making by trading your time, you leveraged that and invested that wisely, learned how to make your money make money for you? That frees up your time. And that's what this channel is really all about. I know we talk about crypto investment here. This channel really is about making your money make money for you. And crypto is the best place in the world for that right now. All right. Any other questions? I didn't see any new ones come in. Well, I think it's time for our wrap. You know what this wrap is all about. Just a fun way to reinforce these principles that make all the difference over time. Also, if you're really serious about this, join the Patreon that gives you access to the private Discord. And most of the action doesn't happen on Patreon. That's just the gateway to get access to the Discord. Discord is where all the chats are at. We'll see y'all soon.
To the space, chasing all of the gains, chasing the pumps and all of the hype trains. But like in life, You buy before you could. Was told to buy when it was pouring like a rainmaker should. I buy when it's down, don't chase the boats that I miss. Cause I always make the time in mind. I take the one out cause I'm patient like that. And I'll wait for the right time. I sell when it's high, I buy when it's low. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm just a rainmaker running the show. Calculated investments, I don't leave with my heart. Principles are simple, they're leaving a mark. Buy when it's boring, just gotta be smart. I sell when it's hype, like all the channels they pump it. That's when I was selling, got parabolic and dump it. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm a rainmaker, making my own start. I'm with the future, learning the past. Makes the time fly by, years going so fast. The game plan is mine, I'll own it now. When I reach the top, haters asking me how. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck. Time is never better, the time like the present. This next 5 years is a gift and it's feeling like heaven. I'm committed to learn, to study and to know that nothing comes easy but with knowledge the game show. Sticking out this wrong cause soon will come a bear market. Learning and growing and when it's slow will be the target. They say it's come out, Bitcoin is dead. The massive decreases can get to your head. Sticking around, the time is better. I'm strong like that, I'll let the others be fretters. 2 years time the ball will bring back the gains. That makes it worth the effort cause here comes the rain. So let's go rainmakers, let's make it all happen. Let go of the hate, let the haters be crapping. I'm here for 5 years, let's do this together. The time is right, the time could be better. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm a rainmaker, making my own start. I'm with the future, learning the past. Makes the time fly by, years going so fast. The game plan is mine, I'll own it now. When I reach the top, haters asking me how. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck. Haters be hating, the time to slow down. Addressing what they say when I'm wearing my crown. They're chasing green candles like someone who was new. I got a vision that was bigger, helping me to push through. I'm still human and sometimes it is rough. And that's what makes me special, simply I stay tough. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck.